Once more in the history of Nigeria, exigencies demanded a multifaceted approach to shore up the economy and enhance the stature and status befitting of a true giant of Africa. Then came the vision for a rescue mission.
Formally declare a state of emergency on Nigeria's water supply, sanitation and hygiene sector.
Special privilege and pleasure to officially unveil the logo of the Clean Nigeria and Open
to support the efforts to ensure that Nigerians have access to good water supply and sanitation facilities.
For decades, Nigeria leaned heavily on oil as its most prized foreign exchange earner. But with the continuous decline of global oil prices, Nigeria, the African giant, had to look to other sectors in a bid to shore up its dwindling fortunes. With growing population and the nation's industries in dire need of resources needed for growth and development, something drastic had to be done, and agriculture was identified to be the best option to reduce the country's dependence on oil revenue. The revitalization of the world's oldest profession in anticipation of bountiful harvest meant the critical sectors that houses water development had to be involved. The Ministry of Water Resources, along with its instrumentalities of the River Basin Development Authorities, vast irrigation network and dams, are now the key players.
For Nigeria to be strong agriculturally, the way to go is the river basins, because the water resources of this country is with the river basin. The land for agriculture is with the river basin. With all of that, we'll be able to harness the resources that is in the basin for the benefits of Nigeria.
For years, these 12 strategic technical agencies under this ministry had been struggling. A dearth of adequate planning and visionary leadership meant the ministry sunk deeper into an abyss with each passing year. But with the coming of a man imbued with determination and focus at the helm of affairs, things have begun to take shape. An engineer with passion for development, the Minister of Water Resources, Engineer Suleiman Adamu, seems happy with the new focus of the Nigerian government on agriculture. To revitalize the sector and boost agricultural production, a comprehensive retreat that was both retrospective and forward-thinking was organized.
Apart from the ministry to support poverty alleviation, the employment crisis, and economic empowerment programs, and food security, there is no better platform than the River Basin Development Authorities.
Getting professionals to man the river basins at the high level of, at the level of the chief executives, executive directors, is very, very important, because over the years we have had people that weren't professionals, that we found them to be very incompetent, and so the river basins were not functional, they were not performing, and so we felt that we should bring people that understand the river basin management by putting the round peg in the round hole. And so that's the whole idea of bringing professionals on board.
The result-oriented minister has not only selected the best to drive the desired change, he has supported them with instruments of ideas, policies and programs previously lacking in the ministry's leadership.
The role of the governing boards of the 12 river basins is a critical element for the success of the agricultural revolution in the country. Therefore, we are expected to bring to fore the vision of the present administration by developing sound policies and programs that will put your parastatals and agencies on sound footings for effective and efficient delivery of the ministry's visions.
Not long after his reforms began to work in the Ministry of Water Resources, the 12 RBDA's managing directors, a product of the reform themselves, became agents of change in shoring up the access to water nationwide and in general transformation of agricultural landscape. This is the headquarters of Benin Owena River Basin Development Authority, one of the flag bearers of the flagship program, Songhai Integrated Farming Technique. A borrowed model notwithstanding, the idea from Benin Republic has been successfully transplanted in one of Benin City's rural communities, Obayato. Here, concrete and earthen fish ponds, poultry and piggery in the animal sector are already in production. Cassava, maize, tomatoes, cucumber, pawpaw and okra plantations, among others, have gone beyond crawling stage. They too have found roots after several rounds of harvest.
In this regard, we have established in at least 2 locations already 2 integrated farms, one of which is already in production. But beyond that, we intend to extend these farms, across the 10 senatorial districts, that Bobda covers. The whole idea here is to have a community of youths working with us, to produce food that will meet, the national food security needs of our country. The development has been steady, and we think that in the next 3 years, these farms will not only be producing and sustaining themselves, but they would also be offering training to numerous farmers and youths.
While serving crop and animal production and processing concerns, the farm also offers training to the youth. 9 of the trainees have graduated. The Lower Niger River Basin Development Authority is also leading the trail in the domestication of various programs. Apart from preparing the stage for the integrated farming technique, Lower Niger has been focused on Graduate Youth Empowerment Scheme. This initiative of the Honorable Minister Suleiman Adamu was designed to train and empower youth to be self-reliant and give direction to the nation's food sufficiency efforts. Since 2016, the basin has trained almost 100 youth in poultry, fish farming, horticulture and crop farming.
I've acquired quite a number of skills which I know it will help me to be able to stand on my own with little incentive or capital to start something, and eventually I will not have to go about searching for a job. I can be self-employed and also employ others.
In addition, the novel One Man, One Hectare program started by the Lower Niger Basin in 2019 encourages youth to take interest in agriculture. So far, about 350 youth farmers have been won over in Kwara State alone.
Last year, under the One Man, One Hectare, at various parts of our area of jurisdiction, we were able to harvest close to 89,000 tons of grains and about 200 tons of assorted vegetables, 70 tons of sugar cane. We have receive so many applications from people, corporate organizations, religious bodies, individual farmers, NUT, NURT, then the NUJ, including NUJ, wanting to partner with us on this 1 man 1 hectare. And the principle of the 1 man 1 hectare is unique and simple. We, the river basin, we put the farmers together. We will provide land for the farmers, but the maximum is 1 hectare per farmer. While NILSA will come in as a funding agency to give us funds, provide funds indirectly, like provide seedlings for them, herbicides, pesticides. Then we will do the land preparation for the farmers. Then the farmer is just to manage the farm within that period. And when it comes to harvesting, they provide the incentives for them also to harvest. After harvesting, they also serve as off-takers. So the input-output analysis, the difference, it now goes to the farmer.
Kano's popularity in irrigation agriculture is predicated upon the vast resources at its disposal, amply provided by the Tiga Dam. But then, Hadejia Jamare River Basin Development Authority has successfully introduced a technique, popular it may seem to others, yet new to this terrain: greenhouse farming. The 5 greenhouses of 8 by 48 meters each, established for fruits and vegetable production, have already begun to entice farmers by its huge productive advantage over the open field technique.
You see, the greenhouse is not like the open field. As you can see, it's covered with net and trash washing. You have the trellising materials and everything. Now, if you are farming on that greenhouse, you have a lot of advantages over the open field. One of them is you have a controlled environment. 1, 2, you have a higher yield than in the open field. You can also use it as experimental material. We do a lot of experiments in there. It will give you more. You can minimize your input. You know, for example, now we are using drip irrigation. If you can see, drip irrigation will help you to minimize the use of water, unlike in the open field.
Spinach, sweet pepper, tomatoes, among others, are being cultivated here.
The harvesting is twice in a week. Normally we harvest like, we are expecting to harvest in each kit, we are expecting to harvest like 300 to 200 kg per each product, like tomato or even the sweet pepper or habanero. The greenhouse, when it is well managed, it has a lot of profit. For example, if you manage like a tomato, like this kit, tomato kit, if you manage it well, you are expecting like almost in a month, you are expecting 1 million.
Our tomatoes and peppers, they have started going to the market, and the production was so encouraging.
These and other RBDAs have also been busy in their respective catchment areas, opening up lands for irrigation, controlling erosion, and even constructing dams.
I also want to see the River Basin Development Authorities, I want their glory restored so that they become the major vehicles for food security, for enhancing food security, providing, supporting the agricultural revolution that is going on in the country.
Irrigation development, as it appears, is another nexus between the core aspiration of President Muhammadu Buhari and the passion of Suleiman Adamu. The National Irrigation Development Plan of his government seeks to shore up the existing less than 100,000 hectares of irrigable land by targeting 500,000 hectares and facilitating development of additional 1 million hectares by the private sector and the state government by year 2030. So, every opportunity that comes is being thrown at it to achieve this target. The World Bank is a timely partner in this direction, and the initiative is the Transforming Irrigation Management in Nigeria, trimming a program conceived to redefine irrigation concept in the country. 5 priority projects have been selected for the pilot of the $495 million investment of the World Bank. One of them is Bakolori irrigation at Talata Mafara in Zamfara State. The previous 8,000 hectares of surface and 15,000 hectares of sprinkler system of irrigation developed with the dam since 1975 did not last the distance in serving their purpose.
The dam actually physically was stable, but we have a lot of challenges with the instrumentation. The instrumentation is very important in reservoir operation. It is these instruments that will tell you what is happening at the dam, what is happening at the reservoir, and what is going out and what is coming in. Most of these instruments have been absent for some time. This intervention is addressing all that.
So, this intervention is rehabilitating 7,440 hectares of gravity-fed system, while 5,560 hectares of the failed sprinkler system are being converted to a gravity-fed system of irrigation. When completed, the project is expected to enhance rice cultivation in this part of the country.
From 2015 to now, since the intervention of the trimming project, all these structures are being put in place, being renewed, and we hope by the end of the trimming intervention, these structures will be as good as new.
There is now the concept where the farmers are able to handle certain parts of the irrigation area along with the management irrigation agency managing the irrigation project. So the farmers are being trained. There is a model that the World Bank has enabled us to come up with. We are establishing the farmers group where they are not having, and we are also strengthening the farmers where they are already in existence. So Bakalori has gone far in that area. So the farmers are now able to manage the tertiary level of the scheme by themselves. And what that has enabled us to achieve is they are now able to pay their water charges because they are now getting value for whatever investment they are making. And added to the fact that we have off-takers that come around to off-take the products, the produce that are cultivated, and then with them having legal backing within themselves and the legal framework that have set them up. WUA, we call it WUA, that's Water Users Association. So than this, we intend to replicate in other projects in the country.
Other prospects in the net of trimming are Kano River Irrigation, Hadejia Valley Irrigation, the Dinkowa Irrigation Project in Gombe State, and Goronyo Dam Maintenance.
Also Hadejia Valley Irrigation Project. Hopefully we're on target to finish it by 2022-2023. This is a project that was started since the Shagari administration. We're talking about like 40 years or so. Never finished, but we're working on it to ensure that it is finished. We also have the Gari Irrigation Project, another project that is dear to my heart, that was started during the PTF days and was abandoned for 17 years.
Some are completed and already fully handed over, such as Sapke Irrigation Project. Sagari 2 was already handed over. We have a Julio Jebe Shepeteri Irrigation Project. Some are completed in sectors and handed over to the beneficiary through the River Basin Development Authorities that are handling. Namely, we have Midurima Irrigation Project, more than 2,000 hectares, have been completed, and the hectarage is being actively, cultivated by the farmers.
Welcome to Gurara Multipurpose Dam, a lofty concept whose purpose is partly on pause. While the dam feeds the lower